Hello, Sinead, and welcome to your card reading and quantum light language healing. Thank you for choosing this special Christmas offer, and thank you for giving me the permission to enter into your energy stream, which I'm just going to breathe into now before I begin the card pull. I invoke and I invite you now, as you're sitting watching this, to invoke your I Am presence as you receive. I bring through mine, I invite in Sinead's. Thank you. Calling in Source Creator, God, Mother Earth, Gaia, as above, so below, and all realms of protections, all realms of angels and guides, welcome forth, elementals and Mother Earth, Gaia. So we're just opening the vortex between us right now. Sukutukutu shatai. Andanakata at the iria sat utkut und etik eshkutwairia. Und ganashi. Rahata. Beautiful. There's quite a serenity that I'm just getting in, just tapping in. Miab zawaria khua sathamdane siti kasha. Hey sonarisi. And I'm hearing the word ready, readiness, ready, I'm ready. Hujana marhaba, I see. As I read out your intention, which is to receive guidance around moving more fully into my soul purpose with the aim of serving humanity, Gaia, and the universe. The very first words when I wrote that down was, Temple of Eden, creation of heaven and earth, bears the markings on her body like a constellation dimensionally. I wonder, do you have actual birthmarks though? Okay, so that came in and I felt quite like a chill through my body and a visual of that coding within you, that blueprint that you're bringing here. There's something a little specific about it. When I do that, it's like I'm tasting the essence. It's like, it's different to, let's say, when I get that other coding sequence of other people. I suppose it's another piece of the jigsaw puzzle. So I just wanted to say those words out loud. They needed to be said out loud for you to hear. You already know them in some way. So they're inviting in a really sacred heart opening, like a big heart opening. And I need to expand my own chest when I say that to you. It's like physically we can't even have our shoulders hunched, right? It's like a beautiful expansion here and a warmth running up and over the headspace. Now, there's quite a number of guides here, and I'm wondering which ones will step forward. When I say there's a number of guides, it's not just, they're not sequential, like they're not even of the same dimension. There's variations in dimensions because they'll help you with different things. Sorry, their energies run through me as I breathe into them. There's definitely Lemurian links and an aspect of yourself from there coming through now. And she floated in with that energy around the Temple of Eden, the creation of heaven and earth, bearing the marking on her body like a constellation dimensionally. So in the blueprint of you, you're holding some markings, particularly around peace. Peace is a big one. Serenity. In this creating harmony and balance. I wonder, is it like, do you have that effect on people when you walk into a room and it's almost like a sigh out can happen in the room? A sigh out can happen in the space that you're in with people having a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, and there's that space that's created for that serenity codes to move through. So that's galactic light language. That's coming in first. And there's a link to the Lemurians there. So there's a couple of links. I'm just following the threads as I'm talking to you, and I'm going to start pulling cards now. I'm going to invite you to have a glass of water. Probably should have said that at the start. And all right. There's so much here. I'm gonna invite, please, those of you coming through, just to kind of come through in a way that I can speak first to you or speak first of you. Okay, so here we have a reference to your oracle ability. And an aspect of you now stepping forth in a different time and space. I'm going to put these on so that you can hear a little more clearly. So these are bees, the energy of the bees, of what we would consider bees on earth, but they have an interdimensional aspect quality that's coming through. And hive mind aspect. There's a medicine there that you access or are here to access and remember. You carry that within your cells, and there's a sense of when they speak through you, or you dream of them, or you tap into nature and bee and honey. There's a certain frequency that will make the cells vibrate in a certain way. They're really coming through quite strong. Yes. Zoom, z, and I keep seeing the mother, the queen bee, if you want to but she's the mother energy of all, mother. Azaka, they're saying reference to temples now. So there was specific temples that you were a priestess of. You could say keeper of the bees, keeper of the honey. And it was a sect, and I'm getting like Greece, Delphi, Egypt. There's a certain, like around that area, as I'm saying that, look at the goosebumps. It's kind of how we know each other as well. Let's tell her about the sisterhood. Okay, I'm getting there. Okay, so there's a huge sisterhood. Priestesses of the mystery schools for that time, that space. And particularly with the bees, there was, because you are an oracle, you would have been termed oracle, seer, high priestess, holding the codes of creation, particularly around fertility, creation, and healing with plant medicine as well was an aspect of that. And in another timeline that was in the same school, there would have been this toning, the sound magic that would have come through, sound healing. And I'm seeing you creating mandalas as well, like you create grid work systems of mandalas, right? Part of your temple rituals.
So I'm going to ask, why is this energy coming through? What does it want to show you? So they're saying, along with the Lumerian and along with this energy, we wish her to remember Zama Awa Ariya, the wisdom that is within her, because this is what she's bringing forth here and now. Hata Kata Mata, this is the access to her truth and her inner guidance that will align her with every step forward in how she serves both herself and humanity and all life everywhere, as well as in service to the Great Mother. Zimza amzani izimza azu zimzi zirak samzani zizuka sazama hasasi masazoi asaziri. Now they're showing me within the body the masculine and the feminine energies. This is working on the left side. And that coding coming through to develop a greater trust in the feminine within you, the magic that represents. The card pulled. How interesting, the inner voice. We were just speaking about your inner guidance, and these beings are coming through, wanting to bring through you, strengthening that channel even more, because there's more power for you to access. There's more knowledge and wisdom for you to access. There's more energy there for you to tap into. It feels like untapped potential, untapped energy reserves even. This is within you, and they're showing me that whenever you get tired, it's because you're adapting to the energy around you and serving it from that adaptive point of reference, point frame and reference. And I'm kind of just seeing like a step back from that and it's like going into your caves of the reserves that you haven't yet realized there's a whole bank there, Zandia, of unlimited energy. It's something, energy is big, like, which, and this energy will feed you physically, physically, like in the body, and mentally and emotionally and spiritually. I feel like it's in a vault, like a bank vault of energy that you're there to access and tap into. How do you do that? Is through the inner voice, listening to the inner voice. What do I need today, me? What does today look like? What is my purpose just for today? And asking in every day, like setting that ritual for yourself. You have your creation, your little altar effects, of one over there. You might make it up different every day depending on how you feel. And breathing in, what is my purpose for today, me? And it can be as simple as that. And it doesn't got to be big and, with fireworks, as simple as that. And as those threads anchor, and it is like when we knit something, we've got our knitting needles. What's the first stitch? All it does is takes that first stitch. What do I need today, me? What is my purpose today? Listening to the inner voice, softening, getting quiet. This is a 5-minute thing of breathing, connecting into the body. As in, see, next stitch, the next day. Third day, another stitch. Fourth day, eventually you have a line. Then you have the second line, the third, the fourth, right? It builds upon itself. And then when you look and you step back, you realize the jumper is made, right? And then you're like, wow, my purpose entailed a stitch and a stitch and a stitch. And sometimes there was multiple stitches at once in 1 week. And sometimes there was just one. And if a stitch gets slipped or missed, you can go back. You don't have to, though. You can continue, because it'll just get absorbed into the whole, the entirety. That feels like if you feel like you're getting a step back, or there's like, we're like, didn't happen for me this week or this day. Not to fret about that, to move forward with it. because that stitch where you're like you're seeing a hole, but actually the space is filled with the intention in any case. So dimensionally, everything is perfect, it's pure, it's clear, it's its whole perfect space. There's a big sitting in here. Now this can, wings or hands sitting into the base, rooting, grounding, calling back in the power via the inner voice. Nobody can tell you how you should live. Nobody can tell you what your gifts are. They can play with that with you, right? But nobody can tell you you should do this, you should do that. Nobody but you, your inner voice. What is aligned with you? No matter what's happening in the world, no matter what's happening outside of you, what is your inner voice saying? And it's the daily stitch that builds that connection more and more and more. Is there anything else to come through? Now, there's the crown here, and we talked about the queen. This looks like a crown here, right? See that? We talked about the queen energy, the high priestess energy coming in. So I'm just going to ask, is there anything else that they wish to? And they're saying a big loud yes. Now they're coming in as a collective, like multiple. You've had so many timelines, or so much of this coding is within you. I wonder, you're really good at a lot of different things, like the singer, the artist, the baker, the maker, I wonder, can you throw your hand at things and be pretty okay at a lot of different things? And then it's like, well, what hat do I wear? I wonder if that's true of you, like just playfully saying that out loud. And you might not even recognize that, but it's part of you, and that's because you've played so many different roles. You've kind of played a lot in the universe. You've tried on a lot of different hats. So that's why there's so much wisdom within you. They're showing me you've earned your gray hairs. I have no idea what age you are, by the way. But they're showing me a gray-haired woman, and she's earned them, like this aspect of the wise woman. And if you're not physically like that age, I have no idea. I don't think I've seen a photograph of you, Sinead. So I don't know what age you are in your life right now, but it's almost like the energy is in crone, whether you're still maiden or mother. The energy of crone, which is wise, like you've really collected the hats to be able to wear them. And this is part of the purpose of you. When people come and say, I don't know what to do here, can you give me advice there? And it's like you can pull on that hat that has that information by listening to the inner voice. Oh, as I say that, all the chills run up and down my arm. And you're trusting, even if it's got to do something outside of your remit where you haven't studied formally, let's say health or plant medicine, or people are asking advice about relationships or money. Even you can tap into anything as long as you're listening to that inner voice, because you've worn the hat of it. Now children are coming in, particularly around children, and guiding the children forward. And this is the hand effect. Now I'm getting the hands, that you're here holding that. I'm getting chills all up again, holding that. Oh, breathe that in. This energy is just roof. It's lifting me off, so I'm going to ground. You're holding that space for the children. Now, do you have children? Are you married? I don't know. A partner? I don't know. I'm getting yes. I'm getting told yes. Do you have children of your own? Yes. More than one? Yes, God, if I'm wrong, well, I don't know. Maybe it's even in that you're guarding others' children if they're not your own, or you're here guiding other children if they're not your own. And even if they are your own, It's the children of the world coming in, of communities. You may not work with children right now. I feel like you're working with the mothers of the children, but everything, I mean, heal the mother, heal the child, that kind of thing, right? Calm the mother down, the child calms down. So there's this, ripple effect from that. And I'm just going, I wonder, do you move into working with children later? And then I'm getting, it's her choice. But the energy she holds impacts the children coming forward. What's that now? Is that, do you mean like the spirit of children coming through mothers to be born? Yes. Okay, thank you. So there's an aspect of that happening as well. Even preconception, readying women preconception. So even if you're just having a chat around the cup of coffee table, or you're out in a shop and your energy is there and there's women around you, it's going to affect them. Like I'm seeing webs, and this is the spider, the great grandmother spider energy, not the web of something else, right? Like this is a web of like a network of communication via energy, and that is definitely happening within your body system. You're super open, which means you probably need quite a lot of de-shedding of other people's energy and quite a lot of protection when you feel you need that protection. And this is true. This is your guides coming through now saying this is true. Hey Asaka, it's because she's so open that we've chosen her to work with her, to work through her. And you know what? It's funny enough, I've pulled from this card deck, right? It's the secret language of light. The one that I pulled first was inner voice, but then I just set the cards down, and facing up is the sensitivity card. And of course, we have the Magdalene energy of the rose and the Christ. Even though I didn't pull it, that's the card that's facing me as I say this, and I'm realizing that is meant to be shared as well. So there's a lot of angelic frequency in this as well. So that mystery school that goes all the way back to Lemuria, that goes all the way back to Delphi when we talked about the Oracle U. And the honey, I didn't talk about the honey. So there used to be in some of these temples, and what I see is there's this beautiful stone and rock. I'm being there now. I'm in the temple, right? And I'm looking out over the sea. These are huge, beautiful temples, really imposing, big pillars. And it feels like there's a circle and a deep void in the circle. I don't know, is that a well or a fire pit? Anyway, it feels like she's walking around the edge of that. And this is what I'm seeing as you, right? A version of you in her robes and her gowns. And she's walking up. And she's got beads on her and all this kind of stuff. And she's beautiful robes. And she's walking up these steps, getting higher and higher up this where this place is. And it feels like there's narrow steps, like she's walking up them, and there's olive grove trees, and there's birds and all this. And up somewhere at the top here, if I was to imagine walking up and see that, there are the honeybees, and there feels like they're in a cave-like space. And the women, it's sacred. No one else is allowed in there apart from these priestesses. And she's saying, this is a sacred space only few have access to. And the bees here, what's important about these bees? So there's quite a lot of nature around. There's plants nearby that have this hallucinogenic effect, or not adaptogenic. What's that word? Can't think of the word. But when they process the honey, and everything is in sacred ceremony, even just they talk to the bees before they go in. The bees don't sting them. They don't even use smoke. They are just completely like as one, as if they're the queen, right? And they're harvesting a small portion of this honey, and this comb, and she's walking back down with it now, and she's like, it's honored. She's walking back down, and it's been placed on the altar, And there's going to be a ritual done later in the day, I'm getting with that. And they're going to be burning incenses, and they're going to move into a trance state. They're going to get together, a couple of them all together around in a circle, and they're going to, I feel even like you might even be pipe smoking aspect. And the honey is, maybe that's the smoke. I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely smoke. Is that the incense? Because I'm just seeing and smelling this. So the honey then is, there's a little, it's gone through a little bit of they're purifying a little and blessing it, and they're going to take it on the tongue, and they put oil in and they mix it, and they put some on the skin as well, like a balm, and it's absorbed in that way as well. And in the tongue, in a tincture, they've tinctures, and they take it, and then they're doing like this whole, they go into trance. There's song, there's music. Surrounding them are the sisters not taking it, and they're creating, like I'm hearing drums and certain sounds and hymns perhaps that were sung as well. And it's a big ritual, it's a big ceremony. And they hear and they go and they talk to the consciousness of the bees, but they also bypass that, moving interdimensionally and seeing timelines. What are they seeing? This is you. Feels like I want to say this is me too. Like, we did this. Because part of me wanted to cry a little at remembering this when I'm talking about it with you. I'm having to breathe deep into the womb. There's lots of stuff around the womb with this when they go into this, being the creation point of the woman, the creation point of earth. They're going into the womb mother. The cone, it's like the honeycomb is the womb mother. I'm getting that shape of the honeycomb being quite significant. And now they're moving into space, time, what's coming, what needs to come, what information has to be drawn down from God's source creator into the now. How do they advise the kings, the queens, the peoples that come to them in the sacred temple? Who is coming? They're even foreseeing that. What healings want to be brought through? How can they help the earth? How can they help the sick? How can they create peace on earth? So they're doing that through this beautiful ritual. And the macabres are spinning. So I'm going to invite now through a light language transmission, being with this now. Let yourself be in sacred ceremony. Yasana Mahasawa Asiasi Zimzarvusa Zekawa Sazarva Arya Sukusundariati Mo Gushu Mogashi Mahakti Hawasa Iharahrum 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 O Mahasa O Mahasa Yandraru. Ahie, ahie, nae, ahie, yandie, maswang hindie, maswa hindie, maswa hindie, ando, gu, ah. We are preparing for the Christ that is to come. Many hundreds, even 1,000 years before the Christ energies are fully seated on earth. These codes are being anchored into the earth, before the next dark age. When you take a deep breath in, so what I'm getting here is some soul pain that's been held at a very high level. When I say high level, I mean it's outside the body and it's up, and it's in the soul memory patterning. And if it's not in conscious awareness, but it's affecting us in our patterns now, and we might even know why, like stuff's going like the way it's going. It's because there's something there in the soul. I'm getting is this constriction and tightening in the womb and the solar plexus, the heart, and the throat. You hear me coughing it out, right? Actually, can you hear me? I hope you could hear me when I said that. So what I said there was up in the higher chakra levels, like soul star, universal gateway, some soul patterning memories that is affecting us somehow here, how we're playing out the game. We're in a game, we're in a simulation. And you as this being in sacred ceremony, holding Christ code lights before they're even fully anchored, it's like you're preparing the way for, I'm going to say, Jesus and his ilk, right? Because you are still holding that energy. We know it as the Yeshua Christ energy from 2000 years ago, but this is going way back, right? Way, way, way back. Before that, and there's a seeding that you're creating and happening because you foresee another dark age before that Christ energy comes through. This is quite upsetting at a soul level, and there's like nothing you can do about it but other than be who you be. And bring through all that you need to bring through. There's a hope there that maybe you can change it. It doesn't have to move into the dark age, if that makes sense. And when I say dark age, what I mean there is consciousness is lost a little. Consciousness goes further away from source creator, because you're quite near source creator in the group that you're in the consciousness that you are in that period. And you've great hope for the world, moving quickly through and moving closer to God. Because you have traveled into the timeline where there is Eden. And that's that word that came in at the start. Quite emotional with this. Oh, so this is like deep soul memory stuff, right? Because you're holding those key codes of the temple of Eden, the temple of heaven, the creation of heaven on earth. And I'm just realizing as I wrote that right above your intention, before I kind of tuned into it, came through, because you bear these markings on your body. How is your body physically? Do you have any pains or aches or anything? I'm checking into sacrifice energy right now, martyr energy, because some of us that hold that, or some folks that I've read before that can hold this, in other timelines, to anchor that light, they would have sacrificed themselves, okay? But it would have been a very conscious thing, like a conscious birth. You would have a conscious sacrifice. And that was in essence to the father, mother energy, creation, source, higher power, whatever words you have for that, universe energy, right? God, creator. So that your light and energy would be in the earth. Your blood would run down the earth. And anybody, your body, will be there. And that means you're making a holy spot where your body was, like, okay, you're anchoring in that Christ light there. So I'm asking, is that true? I really am getting, there's been timelines where you've done that, but it's been in peace. It wasn't done through terror or anything like that. And it was very conscious. But if we're not in consciousness and we continue those acts of sacrifice, it can come with pain. So I'm not saying this is happening, and what I have here is a little tightening in my urethra and my vagina. my perineum, and my back passage, okay? As I'm talking to you about this. So I'm going to breathe into my body. Is there any beliefs around suffering and pain that maybe aren't serving Sinead for the highest good right here, right now? Yes or no? I feel like you're working through it if you do. And I feel like some of that could have been brought through in bloodlines as well. And the pain point was scarcity, lack. So scarcity and lack, I'm not good enough, unworthy, scarcity, lack, like anything not good, not smart enough, not good enough, not loved enough, not accepted enough, not rich enough, not beautiful enough, whatever the not enough is. That's being worked through in the family line. And even that not honored enough, not respected enough. Because you hold that command just from all that energy and wisdom you bring through. Anyway, that's true. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. We're bringing that back into love and light, please. The ancestors of Sinead as well. Who also held the secrets and the knowledge within them. Maybe the timing wasn't there for them to fully realize and bring it through. And anywhere that caused pain, I'm sorry, forgive me. Come into the love and light all that you are. A lot of work's been done there, though. Okay. Taking another breath in. What needs and wants to happen regarding this is that I've been cleared. Now, what that pain in my heart, right? And that little tightening as well is like the feeling of the pain of humanity, the feeling of the pain of the world. So where you love so much, I'm having to breathe that out like that grief. And that sorrow. So just take some breaths in and release, let go, anywhere that might be, even at the deepest soul level. Thank you. I love you, and I'm sorry if any part of me held on, even in the deepest soul level. I am the anchor of Christ. I am the anchor of love. I am the cedar of believers. I am the cedar of believers. You seed belief in others where they have been in doubt, where they have been lost, where they have been forgotten. You help bring them back home. You help them reclaim the truth within themselves. You help them listen to their inner voice. Okay, that's really important right now. You cedar of believers. And you're creating that, like that's being created all around you. I'm getting emotional saying that as well. I'm getting really emotional in this card reading. Because there's so much sacred honoring and sanctity within you that's just pouring out. Do you ever get the smells of roses around you or sacred smells when there isn't any? It's like that's there to be turned on even more and just all over the place. And that potential will come to you with as our bodies are purifying individually but also collectively. We're releasing toxins at all levels. You might start noticing that. This could be one of your gifts as well. So working with essential oils, things like that as well, would be beneficial. Plants, flowers, sacred teas, all ceremony with you. Everything. If you go back to the ceremony of things, and I'm sure you are, and I'm sure you're accessing so much of that knowledge and wisdom through ceremony. Everything is a ceremony. When I drink my water, I bless it. It's ceremonial. When I drink my tea, I bless it every time. And sometimes I forget. And then if I remind myself, it's like it brings me deeper, anchors me back into the love of all that I am. And it's as simple as that. If you have family, if you have kids, if you have friends seeing you do that, you're seeding within them. These simple, simple acts, seeding within them. If you're going into a shop, you're doing the same blessing before you go in. If you're getting and move, you're going to a theater or a party or a cinema or a car or whatever, and you're going to sit down somewhere, you're blessing the seat, you're clearing the seat and blessing it so it's sanctified for your arse. Okay? You're sitting in sanctity, holy space, because that's who you are. Remember it with every breath. When you pee, when you poo, you're blessing it released from your body, because everything that releases from you has the capacity to purify and cleanse the pathways it goes down. And this is the same thing that, I saw your blood running down the mountains. I saw your blood running into the rivers. That would look tragic to somebody else. But with you, through your intention and the pureness and the love with which you sacrificed, I'm not saying you're meant to do that in this lifetime, by the way. I feel like a lot of those times are done with, right? It's the same thing Christ did on the cross, right? His blood would, as they say, his blood splashed into the eye of the man hammering the nail. And the man was blind in one eye. And he regained his sight instantly as he was hammering. Why am I getting so emotional telling you this? Because that's the capacity with which you have this power to bless the world in every single act that you do, even if it's defecation, right? I'm going to compose myself. Okay, I'm back, somewhat composed. Somewhat. And he said, as he was hammering, and he stopped, and he goes, I cannot do this. And Christ said, this is your dharma. This is your purpose. It's why you've been here. And I forgive you and I bless you. Continue with your purpose. And the man continued to hammer. And he thought he'd lose it back again. He didn't, because he believed and he trusted what the Christ had said to him in those moments. So I don't think that's in the Bible, by the way. If you're wondering where that information comes from, it's from the gentleman behind me, I think, who writes about the life of Christ, Sri Kaleshwar, a living saint as well. Oh, so there's a reason I'm mentioning his name. I'm going to continue with that. He's showing me the rose. So there's a picture of him holding the rose, and it's in fire. So he came to earth to show people. You've got me in a mess, Sinead. This is that heart energy you have, you see. When I tap into your field, I melt in your love. Like, I'm just melting in your love, and I'm having you're seeding within me memories. And that's all I'm doing, is reflecting them back to you, right? I'm reflecting all these back to you. So, excuse me, you hear my blowings and everything. So this gentleman was considered a living saint. He died in 2014. He's from India, but he was, he tapped a lot into the Christ energies. And again, he wasn't born Christian, right? It was that's the energy he came in with, and that's the energy he brought here on earth through his lineage. Now, his lineage is Vedic, not Christian in that sense. And he said, I don't affiliate myself with any of that, right? So he didn't label himself anything. That would be from our perspective, let's say. So I don't want to box him in that as well. But the reason I feel he's showed me the rose again, because it is a picture of him. I need to find it and send it to you. And he said he came to earth. So this has something to do with you. This is why I'm sharing it. He came to earth to show the miracles once again, to reignite belief, because sometimes we need to see to believe. Not all of us do. You don't need to see to believe, okay? I feel you need to feel into that. It can be beautiful and joyful when we see that, but you doing like the blessing, you're showing others. Others are seeing and believing because they'll feel it in your presence. This, he took the rose, he had it in the hand, and he just put it on fire. Just, it went in a beautiful flame. And the ashes then were used in a blessing, right? So what was that? He had control over the elements. And this is bringing us into, again, when you as a priestess control over the elements and all of nature, the bees treated you as if you were their queen, right? That you could also do that within these timelines, and you're here to kind of remember that power and access that more. Just by your beingness and the simple acts, simple, so simple at first, blessing the water. I don't know what the potentiality is out of this. Maybe you will be like Sri Kaleshwar at the end of, I don't know, right? And you're just putting things on fire. You're walking on water, right? So he turned water to wine. He did all of these same miracles a couple of years ago to show other people that it had not been lost, that that is still here. The potential is there to access it through that open-hearted energy, and through the purification of our thoughts, our bodies, and our trust and surrender in the source creation energy, right? That's what we're here to anchor and to heal ourselves and to help and be in service to all of God's creatures in the kingdom, particularly children and people, right? So I'm just asking because what's coming up now as I breathe, in my back of my heart, a little pain is coming in around the receiving. Can I receive all of this as true? Can I receive all of this as potential within me? Can I receive these gifts as part of my natural essence? Can I receive that power, right? And the back of my heart, so that's receiving. Excuse me. Dani ama atakaya auro himariera so diana niati. On I'm just asking the energy there, what needs and wants to happen. What is that I'm feeling? So there's a feeling of the abandonment that your dark night of the soul, the abandonment of source, God, creator, or feeling abandoned, rejected. This is linking into the not good enough stuff that we tapped into, mentioned earlier. Excuse me again. So I'm just inviting in an opening and a receiving. And can you breathe very deeply? In and out now, 4, 5, 6 times. Unfortunately, my nose is blocked from all the tearing up I've been doing with you. So I'm breathing through my mouth, but it's that effect, right? You're going to take some deep breaths in and out. Opening the heart. And that back realign. So this is trust. Can I trust fully? Can I receive fully? Anywhere there's been betrayal of that as well, of that love, because I'm getting like a bit of betrayal there, aren't getting misuse, abuse. And it might have been this time, it could have been others, it could have been all. Clearing that from the field, please. So I have some energy from the masculine coming through now, and this is the masculine within you, but also representation of the outside masculine, male. Coming into support, asking, would you allow this masculine to fully support you right now in the feminine? Mohendoro Ehaquadoro. Would you be willing to see the full love of the masculine? Gondoyu. So anything on the shoulders that's weighing down, responsibilities, duties, burdens, what is that? Even other people's ones, not yours. Release, revoke, rescind, delete that where it's not serving you in the highest good across all time, space, dimensions, realities, where you try and make other people's burdens lighter by taking them on as your own. Release, revoke, rescind, delete, let it move into source. You don't have to carry it. Offer it to God. Offer it to source. Hepsia, as you would do all offerings in those timelines. That's what the pit was for. Offerings. That I saw you as a high priestess, that pit. I didn't know what it was for. It's for the offerings. Allah, Yahle, Yallahu, Yahlinde, Yahle, Yahui, Baha, Abbasakti, Abbasankahiti, Abbasanktanhet Kahawi. Now this is an ancient priest coming through, and I'm getting Sumerian influences and also Arabic, and he's showing me that he would connect to constellations. The Hundi and 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 the Hundi. He'll come in to help guide you with business affairs or financial affairs and helping that commune in markets, like what we would see as constructs, how you'll help through your intention, your energy, your focus, align them in with the new seeding energy that's coming through. So this guy's got curls. He's got quite an elaborate, he shows his robes, staff in the right hand. And this is that boom into earth as well. So constellation, earth energy, and knowledge as well. So sacred site stuff coming in through him. And this is to align pathways. And this is around abundance stuff too. So if you're operating with money or your credit card, these are simple acts, you're invoking in that stream of energy that's helping anchor in the higher consciousness money, higher consciousness financial exchanges. These are all so simple everyday things that we do and we don't bring consciousness to. Really, I feel like a lot of this reading is around that consciousness that will become such second nature to you. And so I'm going to pull one more card from the Starseed deck. He's still here, and I'm just going, is there anything else that you want to say? He's like, let my presence be felt and known. She's my daughter, and I brought her up in the school of thought. I'm going, what's the school of thought? Feels like another form of a mystery school. I'm just getting chills again. I am her father. And I'm getting, this guy was a kind of regal, like king-like. Maybe he was advisor to king, druidic, like. Feels kind of king-like. I'm not quite getting who or what. But it may have been like not the main king, like another of a kingdom. I don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna. He does like that. Doesn't matter. He's the father energy. Hanzia Triya Trakawa, and he's showing me scrolls and scholarly endeavors of learning, and these scrolls and scholarly endeavors that would have been undertaken of learning. He's showing me like women didn't read a lot in those times, but he taught you to read so that you would be equal to man and all men everywhere, because he believed you in fact surpassed. Sorry, I'm laughing about this part. He's kind of being a little proud of you. He's saying, I don't care. I'm not supposed to have favorites, but he's like, I don't care. She was my favorite. Okay. So why is he showing me the scholarly aspects? And he goes, this is the knowledge that you'll bring through. Now, is there a book in you? Is there a blog in you? Do you write? Do you journal? Is there a way that you share your words? Do you create blogs or videos even, like speaking? That this wisdom can be shared in that way as well to greater audience. Next card. Forge, don't follow. Pave a new path. Be the leader you wish you had. This is him coming through again. I created leaders, and she was one of the leaders that seeded a great dynasty that followed and surpassed mine. So you must have been a princess or something. I feel like you were married, but you were a priestess. You were allowed to keep both. Again, unheard of in that time. Interesting. You paved a new path in that time as well. You wrote quite a lot. You wrote a lot of like songs and poems that would have been shared. Oh, so many chills. Look at that. My hair is literally standing on end all over me. That would have been shared and taught for eons after, like years after. And these were sacred transcripts, sacred scripts of the knowledge that you passed down, and you made it accessible, like bite-sized chunkable for people. What was esoteric became real when they were able to read it in your hand. So much light just shined in the room when I said that. Do you tell little stories to people or to kids if you have kids? This is all the same way for you to pass on this energy. It doesn't matter almost what you're saying. The energy is in the word, and the word is vibration, and the vibration moves into the body and the cell. And it's accessed by the soul, and that way the person's heart accesses it. Matriyatakama. Forge, don't follow. Pave a new path. Be the leader you wish you had. Take another look. Heaven on earth. And also as above, so below. So we've had the inner voice, sensitivity, but for this was the reminder of your gifts, your power. Also around having to clear other people's energy coming in around this as well. You're carrying the Magdalene energies, the Christ energies as well. The School of the Rose, but you go way beyond that, right back. Have you read the books by Claire Hartsong? You may enjoy those. Anna, the Grandmother of Jesus, and The Voice of the Magdalens is the second book, I think. You may have already read them. If not, I feel like you'll enjoy them. Anzo akiatra asuye sindana leko. Oh, darahati atri 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 atri. Kratra. So we're going to clear the expression there. Ooh, ooh, ah, miata you, yes, niaha utoya, masya kirata. Mehautiru Messia Chiarata Suku Uha Euha Moashiatra Moashiatra Drogo. Tap the thymus, which is also the higher heart, and resetting all systems. The heart stuff's huge. Open heart, so big. I hope this answers your intention. Just looking at the time here. Thank you so much for allowing me to tap into your energy. It's been an absolute honor. But I'm closing it down, but there's beings coming through now with more information. But this you can tap into when you're listening to your own voice. Now this is in the masculine again side, and this is the axis of the druidic nature, elements, earth grid lines, tapping into the star constellation energy and anchoring that into earth. I feel like you're going to get a stick. If you don't have a stick, it's like a staff, and it'll have its own little spirit, tree spirit in it. You can have a chat with that. And if you don't have one, have some fun over the next, it doesn't have to happen this month, like year even, and seeing if you'd like to, if you go out for walks, like a staff when you're walking, probably a native tree thing. I don't know a lot about these. And that's going to kind of connect you with that as well, that energy and that information into the deeper aspects of your own self, because you'll start remembering as you're using it. Play with that. It doesn't mean you're using it all the time. It might be once, a couple of times a year. I don't know. But I do feel like you're going to pick up a stick somewhere, or it's gifted to you, or you buy it, you find it in a shop, or you go outside and you find a nice stick and you kind of take off the sharp bits and it's nice and comfy. Feels natural. All right, that's is it okay for me to close down now? They're like, yeah. Blessings. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Thank you again so much. From my heart to yours. Thank you.